A few weeks before 9/11, I arrived in New York City, and I started again from scratch as a graduate student in performance studies and dramatic writing at New York University. I really believe that experiencing historic moments and new beginnings is something to be cherished in our lives. As I told our first year students at Ithaca College, you are the generation that comes to the college in these unprecedented circumstances. You are trailblazers. You are pioneers. Last but not least, I'd also like to express my joy that Senator Kamala Harris, daughter of two immigrant academics, an Indian American mother and a father from Jamaica, is the first Black woman and the first person of Indian descent to be nominated for national office by a major party. Go Kamala! I am very grateful for the 10-year partnership with the Nuyorican Poets Cafe in East Village. Our annual event honoring Immigrant Heritage Month has been traditionally called New York with an Accent. This year, we embarked in a new adventure, Liberty's Daughters. Liberty's Daughters is an evening of immigrant women's monologues, written and performed by powerful artists across generations, ethnicities, and gender identities. At the end, there will be a short talkback with the artists, moderated by X, an emerging multidisciplinary performance artist whose work will be presented tonight too. On behalf of the Nuyorican Poets Cafe, we'd like to thank the National Endowment for the Arts, the New York State Council of the Arts, the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, the Amazon Literary Partnership, the Academy of American Poets, and the New York Community Trust COVID-19 Response Fund for helping us to provide free online programming. Please help support our efforts with a tax-deductible donation by visiting www.nuyorican.org/contribute or via Cash App to Nuyorican Poets Cafe. We hope Liberty's Daughter will make you think, laugh, cry, respond, and take actions of support. But most of all, we hope you will enjoy this evening filled with mega talent and inspiration. Thank you again for joining us. And now the first artist presenting is Alisa Awad. Alisa?
Hi, thank you. Thank you, Saviana, for that lovely introduction. Hi, everyone. My name is Ellie Sarawat, and I'll be presenting Hello from Rock Bottom. It's the inspiration to a podcast series that I'm starting. I know everybody's starting a podcast. But before I start, I would like to take time to acknowledge the land that I currently reside on in Ithaca, New York. It is the traditional territory shared between the Haudenosaunee Confederacy and the Cayuga Nation. And now I will begin. Hey, it's just me. No host, no guest, no fancy setup, no costume, no makeup, no lighting, nothing. Just me. Coming to you live from rock bottom. I don't need any help getting out. I'm not in any distress. I'm actually just, I'm fine. I'm fine here. I'm not happy to be at rock bottom. I'm not upset that I'm here. I just need a minute. I'm just asking for 1 minute. I don't want to rebuild. I don't want to begin. I don't want to do anything. I just want to be. Give me a minute because this phoenix is so tired of rising from the ashes. No more regeneration juice is left inside of me right now. While you're here, since you're here, you want to hear a cool fact? Did you know that It is actually biologically proven that when you go through a heartbreak, your heart actually changes shape. It's true. When your metaphorical heart breaks, your physical heart's muscle suddenly becomes weakened or stunned, and the left ventricle, one of the heart's chambers, it changes shape. And that's how much trauma changes you. And I guess I'm at rock bottom because my heart is broken. But this doesn't feel like any old heartbreak. It feels like somebody grabbed my heart right out of my chest, no explanation, no note, nothing. A hit and run. And you see, maybe I broke my own heart and maybe I deserve this. Because I made the stupid decision to leave my loved ones, my family, 6 years ago to go to a place I believed would allow me to just be me, allow me to explore, allow me to learn, to love, to grow, only to find that the American dream is quite the opposite for me. And I didn't need a quarantine to be locked away from society. This pandemic quarantine isn't the first time I've been separated from friends and family. So this quarantine, this little thing that had the world go batshit fucking crazy, I have been living with for 3 years. And you can thank Trump's travel ban for that. I hit the jackpot, you see. I managed to get 2 out of the 7 countries that the president has a problem with. But please, please, hold the sympathy. Because I fucking hate sympathy. You can't help me rebuild. I'm so sorry, but there is no common ground between you and me, unfortunately. And in order for me to explain my pain to you, my dear American friends, that means I have to take every little piece of me out and tear myself apart so you can understand me. Because you could never understand me as a whole. For when I chose to open my heart to you, it became a goal of who has the worst trauma. It turned into the trauma Olympics. Who had it worse? Like, fuck, can you guys just listen? Don't listen to respond. Just listen to fucking hear me, to hear us. And I want you to see me in pain. That's why I'm talking to you from fucking rock bottom, because that's where I'm at right now. And I get it, I'm sure, like for many of you, I'm your first. I'm the first person you've spoken to from rock bottom. Yes, I'm the first person of my ethnicity, my story, my personality, whatever it is. I can't say it's a pleasure to be your first. But I hope that I'm your last. I hope I'm the last person who has to speak to you from rock bottom. Because if not, this would have all been for nothing. And I understand that you may not understand and you can't relate to my situation and my world is too far away from yours. But I'm so tired of understanding for you. I wish someone would understand me. And you don't know me, and I don't know you. But I don't need to know you to break your heart. Thank you.
My name is Maria Alexandria Beach. I'm on the occupied Chumash, Tongva, and Keats land in Santa Monica, California. I'm going to be reading an expert from an ever-evolving show. It's called The One Chicken Show. It's a one-woman show I wrote in a fugue state in residence at a Vermont theater festival, at a Dorset Theater Festival. And so, so I'm going to read an excerpt. I have cancer. I come from Andean Highlanders who believe that what the mouth says is what is. So my mother hates it when I say that, when I use the present tense, as if the word have might cause the deadly cells to multiply again, inching closer to my lungs or bones or brain. It's an invasion, except that you're both the invaded and the invader. It's cannibalism, a decision your body makes to consume itself. I had cancer. I had it, past tense. Lo tuviste, she says. Once upon a time, last January, until the surgeon removed a large mass from here and also 12 lymph nodes. I had it worse under my arm than in my now removed breast. It's still called breast cancer, by the way, even when it travels to the other parts. What is here now looks like the stump of a partly amputated leg. The plastic surgeon cannot do much with it because of the virus, the other storm cloud in my life, the other invader that could kill me. He's scared that he could kill me for what is essentially an aesthetic issue, or I could kill him. I mean, my life is a video game. Feeling like yourself, normal boobadol, isn't essential, not the way breathing is. Every week, my physical therapist asks me to rub lotion on it. My Barbie boob is what I call it, to separate skin from the muscle. We had to prepare my left side for radiation, during which I raised my arm for 15 minutes. My pectoral is still a wounded animal clinging to a branch in disbelief after a hurricane. So I need to knead it into submission, my left side and what was left after the amputation. But I can't touch it. To feel it, I first have to grieve for what was, my nipple and the tears that are sitting in my skull, a water tank. I asked the doctors not to use words like stage, being a theater writer and all. I don't want to associate stage with fear and a ladder to doom or counting down days. The stage is where actors search for words and meaning, where we lose ourselves, shedding who we are, where we go to live a hypothetical, where we go to die a good death. It's not where you take a deep breath and count to 1 as they insert a needle in your hand. It's not saying a slow goodbye. Though sometimes I'm starting to wonder if the earth is such a hot ticket, if it's the planet that anyone would want to live on anyways. I mean, if there's intelligent life in the universe, we must be like the dumbass planet of the cosmos. These beings that evolved from the same elemental ooze like us, oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, maybe nitrogen, they must hover over us and think, are they still using coal? They must look up at our sun and think, what the fuck do they think that's doing there? And then they must turn to each other and say, well, they've only managed to get themselves to their own moon. So I imagine a conversation between aliens that goes something like, what are they shooting each other with? Is that lead? Whoa, well, in the political region called the United States, those lead pellets kill 100 of their own species every day. Their young often kill their own young. Well, what are they doing to infants down there in that border? They call that the developed part of their world. They separate themselves from each other with walls and fences. And they keep the wise tribal beings away. I imagine they must use us as a lesson, a cautionary tale, turning to their young and saying, hey, little one, these are all the things that you don't do to your planet or to one another or to other beings. We must learn from these less evolved creatures. Well, what do the felines say? Oh, the felines have given up. And the canines? Oh, they never give up, but they're exhausted. They just want to go home. And the whales are throwing themselves at the shores, perishing all together. And the bees have started to vanish. As a Latina teenager in Louisiana, The second I discovered alcohol, I became the fuck up of my conservative Latin family, Venezuelan family. As our polar caps melt and the polar bears starve, it must be apparent that we're the fuck up planet of the cosmos. So I have it, I have it at 2 levels, and it's pretty embarrassing. This is a story of love, but not what you think it is. I'm so lonely. So lonely. Are you lonely? Thank you.
X, it's your turn.
Yes. Hello, my name is X, and I am the associate producer for this event, as well as an artist who is presenting today. I will be sharing a brief video once we have our technical capacity set up. I would like to acknowledge that I am currently residing in what is known as Brooklyn, New York, which is originally stewarded land by the Lenape and Munse Lenape people. Today I will be sharing a piece called my grandmother's hands and my mother's mind. Yeah.
Hi, my name is X, and I currently reside in Brooklyn, New York, on the land originally stewarded by the Canarsie and Munsee Lenape people. Today we'll be sharing a short video piece entitled My Grandmother's Hands and My Mother's Mind. Thank you. My grandmother's hands, my mother's mind. My mom is intelligent. My mom is disabled. My mom is Black. My mom was born in Jamaica. My mother is an immigrant. My mother is a survivor. My mother did not deserve to be mistreated, misdiagnosed, misled, manipulated, hurt. What about my mother's dreams, goals, and aspirations? What makes me so special that I could overcome my adversity and have agency over my health care and my life? Self-determination is not easy to come by. When I think about how my grandparents brought my parents to the United States of America for a better life, for more opportunity, I wonder how much they thought that through. Because once they came here, they were Black in America. Our family's mixed ancestry did not matter. I notice my mother speaks in American Standardized English as if she's trying to hide her accent. I remember growing up how code switching always caught my attention. Why are we trying to hide? Why do we feel like we are a burden to others and we must accommodate their resistance to change and opening their minds? Why do I feel all this pressure to break generational cycles of trauma, adversity, and becoming a statistic? Born in the US as a second generation immigrant, first generation USian, what are my options here?
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mariana Carreño. I am streaming and I wrote this from Lenape land. And this is my monologue. Blackout. The storm was beautiful. A reminder that we all need a good cleansing once in a while. The lights went around to noon. But after the storm, the streets smell wet and green. I'm new to the neighborhood and it's a nice one, like really pretty clean. I'm still in the Bronx, don't get it twisted. But this is probably the nicest neighborhood I've ever lived in. And I see a couple of fell trees, and I think I should get a and I see a couple fell trees, and I think I should get a flashlight or candles, but everything is closed. And I figure that it'll get fixed, like I'm new to the city, but I'll be fine. Instead, I see a bar open and I stop for a beer. There are only 3 or 4 others there, mostly in their 60s, mostly white, save for a black woman about my age. I hear them talk about how COVID is bullshit, but still wearing a mask. I mind my own business. And then the owner climbs over a chair and hangs a Blue Lives Matter flag right where the black woman is sitting. And I'm thinking, I'm really in the wrong place. And the owner says to me, "Hey, you're new here, right?" And he points to the black woman. "This is my wife, Maria. And these are Molly and Sally and Phil." And everybody says hi and smiles. And he walks over to shake my hand. I'm Peter. And in the span of 2 seconds, 1,000 thoughts cross my mind. I don't want to shake his hand, but I also know that this can turn ugly fast. And I'm new here and I am outnumbered. And I know this feeling. I'm angry, but I am also scared. So I shake his hand and I disinfect it discreetly with Clorox under the table because, yes, I carry Clorox in my bag. I feel dirty. I should not have shaken his hand. I should have said something about that fucking flag. I'm a coward and an idiot, and now I'm gonna get COVID. Now I'm also in complete darkness in my apartment without even a birthday candle. And fragments of my life come rushing through my mind. I'm a little girl in Vallaquino, Sonora. I'm wearing a Wonder Woman bathing suit. I karate kick the waves. The world is immense and I am unbeatable. I learned to ride horses and I am free. My great grandfather, Don Emeterio, promises me a horse and I believe him. From now on, I have a horse. Hell, I still have him. His name is Muñeco. He lives in memories and dreams. Every time my grandfather sees me upset, he pushes my chin up gently, no matter what he says. Walk tall, be proud. I'm in Alvarado, Veracruz. Ripe avocados falling from the sky. A malecon where you can get shrimp cocktails and ices. A really hot Jesus in an Easter parade, somehow made hotter crucified in that wooden cross. A well that was closed after a child drowned. I'm in La Ciudad de Mexico, my city, a house full of secrets, but also excitement and books and stories and possibilities and family. And the certainty that I had to get away from it all. All those are just fragments of my life, pedacitos de vida that might not even be true. But we are made of those. And the encounter with the people at the bar will become just another one. The next day, I venture out early to score a flashlight and charge my phone. I buy 2 flashlights and 8 B batteries at a gas station in Yonkers for the price of a car. As I'm walking home, I have to pass by the same bar, and I feel strangely fragmented, broken. I'm still angry, mostly at myself, but I realize that I have my M is for Mija t-shirt with a Made in Mexico logo on the back, and I walk tall. I walk proud. All those fragments, after all, make me whole. Imperfect, but whole. Thank you.
Cecilia? Cecilia has been having some
Yep.
technical problems. Are you here?
I'm here. I have my video on and my sound on. Can you see me and hear me?
Yes, excellent.
Okay. I still see Mariana. Hi, Mariana.
Hi, Cecilia.
Okay. Can you see me?
I can see you. Jason, can you put the spotlight on Cecilia? Thank you.
Sure.
Just let me know when it's ready.
You're good to go.
Okay. All right. I am Cecilia Copeland, and I am zooming in from the Lower East Side of Manhattan, acknowledging that along with the Nuyorican, we are on the traditional territory of the Munsee Lenape Nation. About my piece, Estella. As a kidnapping survivor, I felt the need to write a piece from the perspective of one of the children separated from their parents by the US government's immigration policy. This particular character is 17 and has been reunited with her parents for several years. Her name is Estella. I don't like people touching me. I don't trust people. No offense. But like, I don't know. It's just people let you down. People who love you will let you down. And that's just the way it is. They may not want to. They may have really good or not. They may just be bad. But either way, they're going to hurt you. My parents are not perfect. Nobody has perfect parents. If you ask them, they'll say they did the best they could. And I know they did. Like, they did. But sometimes the best you've got isn't enough. Sometimes you do all the right things, and it still doesn't matter. I love my parents. I do. But I also kind of hate them too. It's not their fault that I hate them, but they look at me and I can see how much they love me. And they want me to love them back the same. But I don't trust them, like they're looking at me and I'm looking back at them. They're searching my face for the love they want to see there. They're hungry for it. I know that. I can feel it, see it. Wary. That's what I am. What I feel. Wariness of anyone who looks at me, or especially anyone who wants to touch me or hug me, get close to me. What for? What do you want to touch me for? Just don't, okay? I'm fine. Just by myself. I don't need a hug or kisses or someone holding my hand. I'm used to just stay back. That's all. Just don't touch me. Psychologists say I have post-traumatic stress disorder from being separated from my parents for so long. Like, it wasn't that long. I mean, about a year, but I was younger and it was a while ago now. I get headaches, migraines, stomach aches. I throw up a lot. I'm not bulimic. I don't have an eating disorder. It's just that my stomach gets upset really easily and then I puke. I get hot. I get a hot stomach and then I have to take my clothes off and cool down really fast. And if I don't do it fast enough, I throw up. Even sometimes when I do it as fast as I can, I still throw up. I put a cold washcloth on my stomach to cool it down and on my head, on my forehead. My abuela will do that for me. I let her. She's a nurse. She makes sure to flip the washcloth over when it gets hot so the cool side is down. My parents did the best they could. I know that. Sometimes they cry about it and I feel bad because I know they're crying because of me, about how hard it was for them, and I feel guilty. I'm never having kids. No way. As soon as I get old enough, I'm having my tubes tied. Being a parent looks shitty. And as a kid, you feel like you're such a burden to your parents. I don't want to make anyone feel like a burden. I don't really worry about if it would happen again. I sort of expect it. I have nightmares about it. The world isn't a safe place. Nobody can protect you. That's just how it is. I guess I feel best when I'm alone or with my abuela. I love my parents. They work hard. They love me. I know that. But we fight a lot. I don't trust them. I don't trust anybody. Thank you.
Daniela.
Yep, I'm here. Hi, my name is Daniela Dakic. I live in Astoria, Queens, on the land of Mansi Lenape. I've been an immigrant quite a few times. The first time I was an immigrant, I was technically a refugee. I was a refugee from 1992 until 2000. I'm Serb, and I will say that a lot. And by that, I mean Christian Orthodox born in Yugoslavia. Now, that part that I was born is called Bosnia. My last name is Montenegrin, which is my background. I'm sixth generation Yugoslavian of Montenegrin descent in Bosnia, part Italian too. I mean, could it be more complicated? My family had to leave Bosnia in 1992. We were getting anonymous calls, death threats. My dad recognized the person who was calling us for months as his former employer, who was a Bosnian Muslim. And that was around the time the Bosnian War started. Story in popular media was that Serbs, Christian Orthodox, were killing Bosnian Muslims. So my family, we became refugees in Serbia. I remember sitting in front of the TV in a refugee camp, Belgrade, watching TV, CNN, BBC, other media, how Serbs were killing innocent Bosnian people. And I looked around myself, and I saw refugees from Bosnia, Croatia, Catholics, Muslims, Christian Orthodox, Jews, Romas, lots of mixed marriage families. Because Serbia was the only country in former Yugoslavia that accepted all refugees. And no matter what your religion or nationality was. So I thought to myself that the media was a piece of trash for not reporting the truth. And the truth was that as a mixed country, Bosnia, Christian Orthodox civilians living there didn't want to leave their homes. They were fighting for their homes. When you see corruption that young, and I was 13 when the war started, you not only remember it, you remember how it starts. You see patterns. I had these flashbacks. I didn't tell my parents that I would join protest against the war. I was 13. We were peacefully protesting on the streets in Tuzla, my city, with other people. And I saw my 13-year-old classmate, Bosnian Muslim, whom I used to help with his homeworks. He was standing on the side of the street. He was booing at us and making fun of us while we were protesting against the war, trying to keep our homes and families safe. So my grandparents on both sides were fighting in Second World War, and their family members were killed by Nazis. So growing up, I understood the most important thing about the war. People die in war. People get disabled. If you're lucky, you die. If you're not that lucky, you get home and you can't pick a slice of pizza because you have no arms, or you would like to go for a walk, but you're in the wheelchair. And civilians don't think about stuff like that. Civilians get riled up, easily. They get romantic and idealistic about the war. Everything is black and white, good and bad, good and mean, good and evil. There are winners, there are losers, and civilians don't understand the price that you pay. So my family was living all over the place during that war. What would you like to know about living in the war? There's no electricity, there's no water, food is scarce or very expensive, people take advantage. money doesn't have value. We were living in places that they were old, broken, unlivable, ridden by mice. My mom would clean the floor and the baby mouse would waddle between her legs. We had to warm the water on the old stove that was running on the wood. There was no warm water. I remember visiting my grandmother who lived in the house without a water source. There was a pump outside, so you had to get some bottles to get the water, and you had to wash the dishes outside while it was snowing. And I would do that often to protect her because I didn't want her to be outside in the snow. We had to use the outside bathroom. There were no bars, no food deliveries. You couldn't sit outside and get a drink, no salons. No one could do your hair or nails. And we survived thanks to people. I was actually lucky to be a refugee in Serbia because Serbians are generous people. And I always tell that I owe them my life. When we moved to south of Serbia, to a place called Paraćin as refugees because my mom got a job there, her colleagues brought us everything, like plates, serving utensils, glasses, towels, pillows, TV, everything, like you name it, we had it. One of my Bosnian Muslim friends got angry with me for telling this story because that war in her head happened differently. She said to me, your story is bullshit. You know, everyone can read Wikipedia and see what really happened. And then I thought to myself, honestly, she's right when you think about it. It really matters who got their little paws first on that Wikipedia page. So I'm not the victim type. And when people ask me for advice, I always tell them, stand up for yourself. And I stood up for myself. You know, I thought to myself, well, I'm glad that she and her family got to stay in my city, in her apartment, safe, when my family was kicked out. And I see that my family's life is bullshit to her. So I totally blocked her on social media, blocked her phone number. You know, a couple of months later, when she sent me a Christmas card for American Christmas, which isn't my Christmas because my Christmas is on January 7th, but who cares? You know, potato, tomato. I took that card out of the mailbox with 2 fingers, like it was contagious, straight into the trash can outside on the street, because I couldn't let that kind of energy present around me. And I wouldn't bring it into my home, toss it in the trash in my home, because I felt like I was polluting my home. So I took a higher road, the road that supports my sanity and happiness. So that's the one lesson that actually I had to learn as an artist, as an immigrant, as an actor, as an empath, as a human being. You want to help, you understand people's pain, you know, you remember you love people, but you love your sanity and peace more, like gently, with love, but aggressively let go of people in situations that harm you. Sometimes you need to kick someone's butt because it feels good too. And I didn't tell my story for a long time because it would look like I was pointing fingers. But honestly, I wasn't even angry with my friend, not more than for 10 minutes, because I forget and forgive easily. I knew that her truth was that me, my people, you know, Serbs were bad guys. So I understood her and I let her tell her truth, you know, for all these years. But I also had to tell my truth because you have to tell your story and your truth. Truth will set you free.
Orna?
Orna, you're muted. Hey, I think you need to unmute. Orna, you're still muted. There you go. Oh, you tapped it again. One more time. There you
Okay,
go.
from the beginning. My name is Orna Akkad. I'm an author, playwright, and theater director. I'm Israeli Jew, married to a Muslim Palestinian man. And what you're going to see is an excerpt from my monodrama, Wadi Mileh, which I adapted from my book, my novel, Wadi Mileh. Wadi in Arabic, it's a narrow road, and Mileh is the name of a narrow road that in middle of a Palestinian village, and from the other side, a settlement, a Jewish settlement. The story is about, it happens in 2020. Ayat is the protagonist of the book. Wadi Mileh, 37 years old, is the first Palestinian poet to win the Nobel Peace Prize. The place is a city hall in Stockholm. Ayat is giving an acceptance speech, and while doing so, she reconstructs her life for the first time. She is telling a dark secret, which has kept religiously for 20 years, a terrible secret she had kept to herself. Michal Jamili will represent an expert from the monodrama during her speech in Stockholm. Michal, please.
Hi, my name is Michal, and I'm presenting it from New York, from the East Village. And I just want to add one more thing, that during the speech, she's talking about an experience that she had in school when she was auditioning for the Hanukkah play. So when I was 14, my father thought that the best thing for me will be to go to study in the Jewish school in the kibbutz next to my village. I'm auditioning for the Hanukkah play. God forbid if my mom finds out about it, because she's not gonna like it at all. Some of the rehearsals happen to be in Ramadan, which is a big issue for me, but I determined to find a solution. The name of the play is Hanukkah Geld. I read it and I don't understand anything. I don't understand what this play is all about. I don't understand what's Hanukkah Geld. It means we're giving away also money for kids during the holiday, during Ramadan, but we don't write plays about it. Ustaz Shaul, Mr. Shaul, my teacher, is going to be the director of the show, and I have no idea what role I'm going to play. He announces the audition. I audition for every role. The play is originally written in Yiddish and translated to Hebrew. Arabic is my first language, and God knows there's nothing between Arabic and Yiddish. Okay, here we go. That night, I couldn't fall asleep. I was laying down on bed and trying to figure out how much money will I have if all my uncles and aunts and relatives and cousins will give us for Hanukkah. First of all, my uncle Moses Aharon is so rich, but so cheap. Second, none other than my uncle Itzik and his wife, Deborah Froma. Third, my uncle Benush and his wife, Yentel, and my sister, Sarah Zaidel, and of course her husband, Menachem Mendel, and his brother, Yaakov Mendel, Joseph Mendel, Yitzchak Mendel, and the cousin, Reizale, Shendale, Perale, Hannah, Hava, oof, mashallah. Motel, are you sleeping? Oh, I'm awake. What do you want? So if you're awake, why are you talking to me like you're sleeping? Motel, are you sleeping? Shh. I'm looking around and all the class is laughing. Mika, my friend from school, she's laughing her heads off. And I'm like, Ustaz Shaul, Mr. Shaul, Teacher Shaul, can I please try a song? A song in Arabic. I'm so good at singing. The next morning, when I come to school, the breakdown of the casting call is hanging on the bulletin board. And it says, Hanukkah Geld by Shalom Aleichem, directed by Shaul Sela. The cast, Mika as Motel, Guy, Dana, Ziv, Ayat Shitti. Lights the menorah at the end of the show. What? It's a joke, right? He's trying to make fun of me, right? No, it can't be real. Maybe I'm not going to participate at all. No, but if I'm not going to participate, he might fall in love with another girl. Maybe he's going to fall in love with Mika. I already gave her the main role. Maybe he's already in love with her. I can't leave him alone with her. And if I won't see him, I'll die. No, I'll have to participate no matter what. The week later, the rehearsal fall on the first day of Ramadan. Ustaz Shaul, Teacher Shaul, I can't come tomorrow. It's the first feast of Ramadan. You expect me to come anyway? And to bring a sandwich with me? I can't come. It's the first feast of Ramadan. You better make up your mind, Ustaz Shaul said. It's either you come to rehearsal or you don't participate at all. It's impossible. I can't make it. I didn't make it. I didn't make it to school neither. There is no need for Ayat Shitti to light the menorah at the end of the play. Anyone else can do it. That night, I wrote my first poem. A girl was sitting on your lap. It wasn't me. She curled under your arm. It wasn't me. You spoke with everyone but me. Balkis. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Antoinette Lavecchia. I'm not on the screen yet, but my name is Antoinette Lavecchia, and I am sitting here in New Jersey. And this land was violently taken from the Lenni Lenape tribe, who had lived here for 10,000 years. Their name translates to mean original people. I am an Italian immigrant, and I was born in the same village as my parents and their parents and their parents, and so on and so on. This piece is inspired by my mother and all the women who came before me, the women who keep everyone and everything moving forward in spite of being invisible for the most part. Oh, nobody listened to me. I asked my daughter to write me a list, as she not do yet. Ooh, my favorite show on TV. Oh my God. Oh, this girl, she sings so beautiful. My daughter, she no lucky. She get a divorce, she no have children, she have so many problems, and she never listened to me. I tell her not to marry Mark. She say, when? When you tell me? I say, you come to me and you say, I want to marry Mark. And I say, you sure? Huh? Now my daughter want to marry again. Somebody who have 2 children. I tell her, he not gonna love you the way you want. The children always come first. She say, I know, Ma, I know. Yeah. Everybody know better than me. I'm 75 years old and everybody think I stupid. Now my daughter called me and she say, Ma, he do this, he no do that. I say, you can't complain. You don't want to listen to me, and that's what you get. You can't change anymore. You know what my mother used to say? Manda rossore per quando spandi il sole. Send red to your face when you think you want to do something not nice. Where I come from, you marry one time and that's it. You stuck. You think my husband is perfect? Oh, please. Egoista, 100%. You understand? Selfish. And he tell the same story all the time. Everybody love me. Wherever I go, everybody love me. Oh, I can't listen anymore. I tired. He treat me like ignoranta, stupid. And he never show me how to do anything. I can't even do a checkbook. Mabafangu. Oh, I love this song. Suona, suona mia chitarra, lascia piangere il mio cuore. When I was piccola, I loved to sing and dance. I sing all the time with the radio and I love school. My mother take me out of school dopo la terza media, the 5th grade. And when somebody asked my mother, tua figlia tiene una orecchia per la musica. Your daughter have ear for music. Why you no let her study? My mother said, no, a chi tante, chi niente. Her other children no finish school, so why I gotta finish school? Contadini, my parents, they don't understand. So now I learn everything by myself. I go to church in English, I do the Facebook, Skype. I watch so many shows on TV, nella lingua mia, and I learn something new every day. Now I just want my daughter to please write me words. I need the words in English to write on the Facebook. Not just happy birthday, other things. I hope you have a beautiful day. Congratulations on the graduation, like that. She say, what do you want me to write for you? And I say, everything. I want to know all the words. Oh, now I wait for my daughter to send me this list. And I watch my shows. And I work in my garden. I chase the animali who eat all my beautiful tomatoes. And I worry for my children and my grandchildren. I do everything for my husband, and my body hurts me all the time. So much pain all the time. And I forgive everybody. But I never forget. I'm 75 years old. I'm not stupid. I know a lot of things. And I keep learning. I want to learn the things I don't know. Not like my husband and my children. They know everything. After I die, then they understand. Mamma aveva ragione. Then they wish they listened to me. Yes. Yes, they do. La senti questa voce? Chi canta è il mio cuore. Amore, amore, amore. Da, da, da. Ma tu mi capirai. Thank you.
Vernice. Bernice.
Hi, my name is Vernice Miller. My pronouns are she, her, they, as in those whose shoulders I stand on. I'm originally from the island of Jamaica, but I'm coming to you now from Brooklyn, New York, land that was taken from the Canarsie and Munsee people of the Lenape Nation. The monologue I'm presenting is from a play I wrote almost immediately after my mother died. It is full of questions I had not either thought of or had the courage to ask her before she died. This monologue is my response to the question, whatever happened to my father? Time I remember feeling most shameful was the only time me and you and your father sit down together under the monkey tamarind tree. It was the time of year when all my favorite fruit trees start to turn ripe. And when you're sucking a bread, it smelled just as sweet as you know the ripe fruit was going to taste. And all three of us sit down, all peaceful like under the tree. Me and you was listening to the leaves complain to the wind about the weight of the full fruit. I was afraid to stop listening to them rustling because I didn't have the words to tell him that I had missed my monthly nearly going past 2 months. I didn't know how to tell him that you was already real and growing between me and him. He was gripping my hand real tight. And the righteousness of the three of our Holy Trinity went so deep that even you feel it. And you was crying with happiness inside of me. I should never turn my head and look so bold in him eye. Cause just then, him leg on my hand and hang down him head as him tell me say that him have to move back a town. Him said that this girl who him was friendly with before him come to Mass Jana country, sent him a letter. She write say that him have to come back and do the right thing by her, cause it's him fault that she go and be him baby mother. I start to think to myself, this not happening to me. This only happened in storybook. But when I look in him eye, I could see that it was me that was feeling all that pain, all that hurt, and all that shame. It was true. And I was so shamefaced for all that I had wasted. So much time dreaming for me and for you and for him. I felt shame for every time that he never touched me. Shame for every time that I had let him see me naked. Shame for thinking that a country girl should waste all that time counting on a future with some boy who born and grow up a town. She mocked me, you see, and drowned me for all that I was wanting and planning for the three away. I silently prayed to God that he would send an earthquake just then, to God, to pry open the earth and swallow me whole. I was sure that shame was going to poison me to death. I could feel myself slowly dying. But I refused to let him see me cry. I wouldn't give him the satisfaction of seeing just how much love I had for him. I decided right then and there that no man was ever gonna make me feel that much shame again. Never again that much pain just for a man. And all that love I had, I knew was rightfully belonging to my baby, my precious secret that I carried growing stronger every day inside of me. And all the time, I didn't know that my baby was gonna love me back and never ever give me cause for that kind of shame. Thank you.
Hi again. It's my turn now. Jason, can you give me the spotlight? Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. So, hi again, I'm Saviana. I will read Don't/Dream, a poem monologue that I initially wrote as part of a project about human traffic developed with director Tamila Woodard at the New York Theater Workshop at New George's. The monologue has been performed by actresses of various ethnic backgrounds in New York, Ithaca, London, and other venues across the world. Don't/Dream, don't dream. May, the character, is an in-house domestic worker speaking with a strong accent. 5 a.m., wake up, cold floor, barefoot, door squeaks, quiet, no wake up kids, go kitchen, clean sink. Mrs. always gets mad if the sink is dirty, make eggs, warm milk. 6 a.m., wake kids, wash ears, wash neck, toast bread, cereals, Captain Crunch, spill milk, little Johnny cry, shh, don't wake Mrs. Wipe table, kids eat, hate me, say stupid, I'm no stupid, call me May, do this, do that, May, not my name, help kids dress, t-shirt, jeans, socks, shoes, backpack, ready, bus comes, kids go. 7 a.m., clean sink, Mrs. always gets mad if the sink is dirty, let dogs park out, fresh morning air. Good, enough, hurry, back. 7:30 a.m., wake Mrs. and Mr. Make breakfast, omelette, spinach, cheese for Mrs., ham, pepper for Mr. Mrs. yells, sink now clean. Oh no, little piece of pepper there. Coffee, Mr. Spears, Mrs. Med, they argue. Big day today, vote day. More coffee. 9 a.m., Mrs. and Mr. leave. Clean sink, start laundry, to garage, wash car, vacuum living room, hallway, kids room. 4 bathrooms, no gloves. Clean toilet, sink, scrub floor, get corners. Mrs. always gets mad if the sink is dirty. Mrs. always checks corners. Finish laundry. Start iron, radio, vote, vote, vote. Too loud. Big day today, vote day. Don't forget to change toilet paper. 1 p.m., kids back, make lunch, clean kitchen, put kids sleep nap, finish iron, go up, go out. Fresh air. Good. Flowers, bees, butterflies, neighbors have peacocks, nice colors. Hurry, clip bushes, kids wake, want snack, make sandwich, clean sink, clean table, kids play living room, kids make mess living room. 6 p.m., Mrs. and Mr. Beck, stickers, nice colors. I voted. Mr. throws stickers in garbage. They argue, clean living room, cook dinner, clean kitchen, oven, floor, sink. Mrs. always gets mad if the sink is dirty. Take garbage out, save stickers, nice colors. I voted. Set table, bring food, sauce pasta no good, Mrs. angry. Make new sauce, family eat, I serve. Clean kitchen, oven, floor, sink. Mrs. always gets mad if the sink is dirty. Take dog Sparky out, fresh air, good. Hurry, 9 p.m. Kids go bed, not yet. Big day today, vote day. More iron, bath for Mrs. Help Mrs. hair dry, rub Mrs. feet. 10 p.m. Mrs. and Mr. go bedrooms. Not yet. Big day today. Vote day. Family watch TV. They argue. Clean living room. Not yet. Kids want milk and snack. Make sandwich. Mrs. wants glass of wine. Bring glass of wine. Not red, white. Bring white wine. Mr. wants whiskey. Bring whiskey. Not good for your stomach. They argue. Big day today. Vote day. Winner. Bad guy. 11 p.m. Put kids sleep. Mrs. and Mr. go bedrooms. Sex? Wash sheets tomorrow? No. They argue. Vote no good. Midnight. They sleep. Clean downstairs. Living room, kitchen, sink. Mrs. always gets mad if the sink is dirty. Shh. Don't make noise. 1 a.m. Finish clean. Look, stickers. I voted. Oh no. Colors dirty. I'm dirty. I want to take a bath. No. Can't. They hear. I wash my armpits. I wash my neck. I wash my face. I wash my hands. I put my foot in the sink. Wash. I put the other foot in the sink. Wash. Mrs. always gets mad if the sink is dirty. 2 a.m. Go sleep. Don't dream. Dream. Fresh air. Breathe, breathe, colors, butterflies, birds, beautiful flying creatures with sunflower hats and peacock feathers. Wash my feet. They're honeybees. They make a throne of petals, peppers, and honey. For me, they bring a pillow. Nice colors. I voted. My honeybees vote for me, work for me, listen to me, love me. I'm their queen. As long as I live, forever, queen. Ah! Alarm, 5 a.m. Wake up, cold floor, barefoot, door squeaks. Quiet, no wake up, kids. Go kitchen, clean, sink. Mrs. always gets mad if the sink is dirty. Mrs. always gets mad if the sink is dirty. Mrs. always gets mad if the sink is dirty. Thank you.
All right. Hi, everyone. I don't know if I'm on the screen yet. This is Pia.
You are on the screen, Pia.
You're on the screen. Great. All right, thank you. Hi, my name is Pia Wilson. I am on the occupied land of the Munsee Lenape tribe, and I'm currently in Newark, New Jersey. I'm reading a monologue from my play, Turning the Glass Around, which was produced in 2014. You know how some people say they were born in the wrong body? Your father was the same way. He insists he was an American trapped in a Korean's body. I almost said no when he asked me to marry him because of this craziness about America. But I could tell he was a good man, a smart man. I knew he was a man who would never stop working so that our family could have the best in life. He had big dreams, even if I thought they were pointed in the wrong direction. I thought I could change his mind. I wanted to have many children. I wanted a big family like we have in Korea. Your father wanted to come to America instead. I accept your father wanting to come to this country. I accept that we will only have one child. I accept That one child going to college thousands of miles away and coming back home with a girl he wants to marry. I accept that she is not Korean. I said I accept these things. I didn't say I want these things or that I pretend to be happy about these things. Did you or your father ever care that I didn't want these things? That I never wanted to come here? That I wanted more children? That I wanted the only child I did have to stay closer to home so that I may see in his face that he's fallen in love before he says it? That I wanted a Quebec at the wedding to welcome your bride into our family? I wanted to fly your harmony to New York. You and your father decided against it, not me. You and your father never cared what I wanted. And worse, you two blame me. You say your harmony does not like me, that she would not have approved of your wife. Your harmony sits in Korea not approving of Dana. She could have done that in New York and have the respect owed to her. No, your father was thinking of himself. His mother hates America more than I do. And what does it matter if she hates me? I show her the proper respect. I call her every week, even now that your father has died. Here, I save all his things for you. I will ship them to your home since I'm not allowed there. He got this little flag the day he became an American, an official American. Every day I had to hear, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the Republic. I don't need to hear it ever again. One nation under God, no such America exists. Indivisible? Nonsense. All you do is divide yourselves up. Korean American, Irish American, African American. You have to, because being American does not mean anything. What an American look like, sound like, act like? You can't tell me because it does not exist. There is only the idea of America, and Americans know it deep down. You are all just a bunch of fools walking around with things in your ears and sunglasses all over your eyes, so you never have a minute to realize that this is all an illusion and you don't belong here. You, son, belong in Korea. In Korea, you could have been a captain of industry. You could have owned your own company. Here, you go from job to job where they will never put you to the top of the company. The top of the company, not for Koreans. You say you're not just Korean? You may as well be. You look Korean. You eat Korean food. You speak Korean. What makes you an American? Ah, yes, you were born here. Is that all? Ah, yes, you speak English. So do I. You eat American food. So did your father. It wasn't enough to get him citizenship. Come home to Korea with me. Thank you.
Thank you all for your beautiful and powerful monologues. Let's gather on a screen for the talkback. Thank you, all beautiful artists. We'll have now a short talkback moderated by X. X, and everyone come back on
Yes.
screen in gallery view.
Yay. Maybe we give another silent round of applause for everyone who shared today using our silent hands and our reaction emojis. So again, my name is X. My pronouns are they, them, and I assisted as an associate producer for tonight for this version of Liberty's Daughters. So I'd like to go around to whichever of the artists feel comfortable sharing. I'd love to hear if you could speak about why it was important for you to participate tonight in this showcase, and if you if you would like to speak about the work you presented, why you chose this work, if it was a new piece, what was that inspiration? And so if anyone would like, we can go around, and I know, like, Pia, if you would like to start us off to share a little bit.
Sure. Yeah. I wrote Turning the Glass Around maybe 6-7 years ago. And it's about a first generation Korean American man who has a breakdown when his father dies. And he believes that this blonde haired, blue eyed man is his doppelganger and trying to take his life. And so I wanted to talk about the American dream and what does it mean. And, the inspiration was that whenever I would go to a bar with my friends, inevitably we wind up talking to strangers or whatever. And, my people would accept when I said I'm from New Jersey, or if I happen to be living in Brooklyn. But I noticed that if I was with my Asian friends, especially, people would say, "Oh no, where are you really from?" And I would be like, "Well, they just told you where they're really, like where they're from." So I don't understand that whole conversation. And so I like to write about identity plays, who gets to call themselves American, why, and who doesn't. And so this play was the result of that.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Does anyone else feel inclined to share? And maybe someone who I think I personally would love to hear, Elisar, about your piece and thinking about it as podcast format, and that it was definitely written very recently. How it will exist after tonight.
Yeah, so thank you, and congrats everyone. That was a really beautiful evening filled with so many stories. I'm like still a little taken aback by some of the pieces, so forgive me if I'm a little like dazed. But well, firstly, the reason why I'm here is truly and completely honestly is because of Saviana. She was my professor in college at Ithaca College, and she was one of the only people who was an ally to me on that entire campus, because I was the only one on that campus affected by the travel ban when it came out my sophomore year, so back in 2016-17. And being in upstate New York is pretty jarring for someone who's lived in different parts of the world, and it's like the lack of diversity, specifically in the area that I was with Saviana, was kind of tough. So I found my voice and like was no longer really ashamed of my identity through her playwriting classes, because she gave space for me to write characters like me, because I didn't have anything to go off of. Like, I don't really see much like Syrians or Iranians in their playwriting, and all that authentic voice I feel like has to be censored due to the different like laws and regulations in those countries. Bits and pieces of the monologue / podcast were written before. I think I was like triggered by people complaining about the quarantine, and it's completely valid. It's a new experience for everybody, but dealing with it for 3 years almost, like my own version of a quarantine, was tough. So that addition was quite recent, but everything about feeling like rock bottom and that heartbreak, and that's just kind of like a recurring theme in my life, but it's not me. It's just a chapter that I have to keep revisiting, in that pain. And so it was really just about sitting with that pain and trying to understand it. And in terms of the podcast, it's just gonna be talking through the different things and kind of being my own therapist, but letting people see that raw bullshit that sometimes you have to be in. I always hear the stories after the fact, like, I've been through this and I suffered with this and that. And I'm like, well, I'm kind of there right now. And I want people to just see that side. So enough from me, but that's really it.
Thank you so much, Elisar. Yeah, really exciting to hear that these pieces all have like different lives, and all outside of tonight, and also have all kinds of inspiration. Cecilia, I know you were interested in sharing something tonight, and your piece, you mentioned how it was you somewhat had a personal experience that kind of inspired it, and I know that might be a sensitive topic for you, but I definitely would love to hear a little bit from you and why you chose to go down this route with this personal connection tonight, and why this showcase. Why was it important to do it for Liberty's Daughters?
Thank you, X. I appreciate the question. And I just wanted to say thank you so much to everyone for their pieces, for sharing tonight. It was really special. The reason why I wrote this specifically for tonight is because I just, I feel the best way I can help this issue is to continue writing about it. I have a screenplay that I've written about it that I'm working with a producer to try and get produced, to tell the story of what it is to be a kidnapping survivor, and to, and my story was very different to the story that's happening now to these kids, but I know what it's like, sort of as our previous speaker was saying, to be living through something. And it was important to me to create this character who is in the throes of becoming an adult, living with very deep scars. Because, as I look back on my journey of healing and what it took, like, I know what these kids have ahead of them. I know that the psychological and the emotional scars that they're going to carry. And from what this does to you, even in the best of circumstances, which mine were in the best of circumstances. I was kidnapped by people who love me, but these are kidnapped by people who don't love them, and have different reactions to that. But there are some things that become fundamental about a distrust in the world and a distrust in people and shutting down emotionally, which those are protective skills that are learned by dealing with trauma at a very, very young age. And part of the healing process as I have gotten older has been to unlearn some of those and to learn how to cry. I mean, I was a little mad at myself tonight because I shed some tears, which, if I was being more true to character, if I had been a truer character, a better actress, I would not have done that, because the teenage years, then I was way the clamp on my emotion, and the walls that I had built were so strong that would not have seeped through the way that it does now. And that's due to the hard work of doing that healing, that you learn how to open those walls up and to be a vulnerable person. But as a teenager, especially, those walls were rock hard, and they were things that protected me, and I valued them. But of course, now as a mature woman, in my mid-40s, I look back, and my heart breaks a little bit for that person, and a lot for these kids, of what they are going to have to unlearn, lessons that they were taught far too young. And so that's why I chose that age for that character, and why I continue to fight this fight in the best way that I can, because I know what's ahead for these children, and I want to spare them as much of it as I can, and let others know what they've got coming. So yeah, that's the story of the piece.
Great. Thank you so much, Cecilia, for sharing all of that. I would love to hear from Orna and Mikhail about your collaboration. I think it was really interesting to have a playwright and performer collaboration here with us tonight, and having you and hearing you both speak. So I'd love to hear about your work together, and more about the work, the excerpt that was shown tonight.
Okay. This is we live in we immigrants to immigrants to immigrants. I mean, my parents immigrated to Israel from Bulgaria, and I'm an Israeli Jew, married to a Muslim Palestinian guy. So he's resident in Israel, but he has is a second degree resident. So his first language is Arabic, and which is like an immigrant, but he's a citizen. And through this, I wrote Wadi Milach, the monodrama, because I feel that I live in a fence between the two societies, the Palestinian society and the Israeli society. So, through that, I experienced a lot of conflict, some armed conflicts and some government conflicts, and we lived through it through the years. So I have, I wrote the book Wadi Milach because there were events in year 2000, which was the second Intifada. And I experienced this Intifada because I went with my husband and my son, who was just newly born. We went to the village and they were starting attacking us, the soldiers with guns, and we had to ride fast. And in this Intifada, 13 people were killed. So, so I wrote this experience in this book, in Wadi Milach. And then I, because it's about a girl, a Palestinian girl who goes to a school in the kibbutz, in the Jewish school, and it's in the year 2000 when the second Intifada has begun. So the conflict between the Jewish students who study with her, the Islamophobic there, and her being the only Palestinian in all surrounded by Jews and all the conflicts between them. So then I adapted it to monodrama, and in the monodrama, this monologue, I continued what happened after 20 years with this girl who was 17. So, because she was a poet when she was a girl, and I imagine that she will be the first one to win the Nobel Peace Prize. As the first Palestinian to win the Nobel Peace Prize for literature. So that's what the monodrama is about. And it was performed in the Israeli Monodrama Festival by a Palestinian actress. So it was very interesting. And then I gave it to Michal. And Michal she's Israeli, and she's acting as a Palestinian in this monodrama. Yeah, that's the experience.
And Michal, did you want to add anything about what this was like?
I'm not going to talk about the play because Ona can talk about it more. And actually, she just gave a very general of the story because it's going into detail. This girl having relationship with her teacher, who is Jewish, who came back from New York after many years that he used to teach in NYU drama. And there's a relationship between them, and he rapes her. So it's getting much more complicated, and we are friends, so we start working on it. We started from something different, and now during the pandemic, we start also working on this piece. It moved to this one. I have my own story as an immigrant, because I've been in New York for this time around like 26 years, but it took me, I was in quarantine for 13 years. I couldn't leave New York. I couldn't leave the country for 13 years. It took me 13 years to get my green card. One thing moved to another, and I became a criminal without doing any crime. I ended up with a big deportation case, and I was an actress. I come here as an actress with a big career, agent and everything went down. I never thought it was going to take 13 years. I had 4 years of deportation case at the end, which I won. At the end, that was like over a decade, means I'm a citizen now, yeah? But it's very important for me all the time to show that it can happen to all of us. Because people used to say, oh, you Israeli, nothing's supposed to happen to you. It's so easy. You're Jewish, all of your family lives here. There's nothing to do with it, yeah? You have rich families, they're all been here forever, nothing to do with it. I remember, because I've been with La Mama for like more than 26 years, and Ellen used to say, with your name and Israeli, nothing should happen to you. Bullshit. Everything can go wrong. And at one point, you find yourself a criminal, and you're getting all of this kind of behavior and symptoms, and you don't even know you didn't do anything. In my deportation case, that I thought that I'm almost gonna lose it, I was about to lose it, but the judge fought for me like no one else, yeah? At the end. They told me to leave the country. I have a daughter, she's an American citizen, to leave her here, to go to live to Israel. She can come to visit me. All of those kind of things that you're like, it's not happening, yeah, right? It's all just things that you keep on reading about it. But it happened to me. So, of course, being an activist and Israeli and being a Palestinian and everything, so it's part of who I am. So I founded a company, a production company that's called No Visa Productions. That's like 10 years ago. And beside the stuff that I'm working and doing in La Mama, I'm trying to do stuff that really, I don't know, makes a difference or important or touching with dealing with the real things. And that's about it. So, and I really think that Orna's story tells a beautiful story in that sense. And I said, okay, it'd be a great platform to show it. And I know Savi for years. I know Savi since she came to New York. So we worked, we collaborated in other other projects.
Thank you so much for sharing. I would like to kind of take us into wrapping up a little bit right now, because it is a bit late. Antoinette, I don't know if you would like to share something, and you have to leave soon, perhaps, and it is getting quite late on the East Coast. You know, Alex, you like to share tonight. I would like to pose to Antoinette and then Alex, and anyone else who would like to speak briefly on this. The age-old question that comes back around and around again: the artist's role. The artist's role in history, the artist's role in society. Are artists supposed to be activists? Are artists, you know, are artists supposed to be a part of the revolution? What is that responsibility? And just how do you kind of grapple with, you know, the rise of like politics and the whole sociological nature of today, and with your artistic practice?
I'll tackle that. I sort of, you know, when you're brought here as a child, it's hard to see yourself as an immigrant, because the immigrants, that's a story. And then there's like a whole kind of, you know, sort of narrative that goes with what immigrant means. And so you grow up here and you just think, no, I'm just American. My dad was American. But then as I get older, I realize that being an immigrant is actually a very important part of my experience and identity, because I see the US through the prisms of Venezuela, always. like you use the word revolution and like my head wants to explode, because to me, revolution means going into a country and destroying it completely. And that is exactly what happened in my country with people who use that word. Now, do I love the word, the meaning of the word? Yes. Do I still have hope for that word in a different context? Yes. You know, am I going to join the right? Not in this lifetime. So I think it's so important and vital that those of us who have an outsider's perspective, a different perspective, be loud voices today, because we have the panoramic view. Like we come from these microcosms where things have worked and not worked. And so we can see sort of the ways that this country is actually flourishing, and then other ways where this country is dying. And I feel like so much of this country is dying. Some of it good, some of it bad. So I think our voices are vital. And like I said in the beginning, you know, unless you're Irish or British, ain't nobody wants to produce you. So anyway, you know, I'm always like banging on a pot and saying the not popular thing, just to kind of break that American mentality of, you know, it's either one or the other. Like Americans are like binary thinkers. It's either this or this. And so I feel really strongly that immigrant voices should be heard more than ever. So that's one thing. I also want to say that being an artist is a political act, because even if you just write sort of comedy, you are helping people cope with reality. You're also, you know, even, and I don't mean comedy, there's plenty of political comedy, but like, even if you write, you know, you're still somehow healing the world by allowing for a moment of levity, which humans need. I also think that anything that comes out of my head is political, because humans are political animals. And so I don't like feel like I have to write, you know, a political play, as much as I just have to write. And I have to trust that my chemistry and architecture and engineering as a writer will mean that I will feel an urgent need to point out injustice. So I don't think those two, that artists and activists are two different words. I like that you combined them, Saviana. And so it's been an honor to kind of be here with everyone. Michal, your transformation blew my mind away. And that was lovely for you to come back as a whole different person. And I enjoyed all of your work. So thank you so much for having me with you.
Thank you. And with that, I would like to again thank everyone, all the artists and all of our audience members that have joined us through Zoom and other streaming platforms. And thank you again to the New York Poets Cafe. And thank you to Saviana for both curating the event, pulling everyone together, and also showcasing tonight. And with that, I will throw it back to Saviana to lead us in a closing.
Thank you all again. Your beautiful words and your powerful work have been like fresh air for all of us tonight. So now we will end the evening with a ritual that we have with Yasni events. And that ritual is to say goodbye and thank you in different languages, a symphony of languages. Let's try that in the end of our event. Again, thank you all who join us this evening. We are honored and happy that you were here in the Zoom room where it happened, where you could hear and you could share with us these thoughts and hear the words that we had to share. And let's try this goodbye and thank you. I'm going to say it in Romanian. Mulțumesc, la revedere.
Merci, Khodafis.
Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you kindly. Peace out.
Muchísimas gracias. Buenas noches.
תודה, שלום.
מע הסלאמה.
Paola Positi, ciao.
תודה ולילה טוב.
Vi ringrazio, buonasera.
Little more, little more.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night. Arrivederci. Adios.
Good night, everybody.
Ciao.
Gracias por venir.
And everyone in the chat room, if you want to write goodbye in your language, please do so. Let's have a chat storm of goodbyes in many languages. Thank you all. Applauses. Let's unmute ourselves and applaud. Bye-bye.
Yay.
Gracias. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Saviana.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.